Will, I'm being told your microphone is muted in Streamlabs.
Oh. Well, it might have been muted physically on the back of this. That's really unfortunate for all the commentary I've just done. Huh.
Incredible. Keep up the good work. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
As it appears, well, unfortunately you haven't heard any of this, but yeah, as Aiden Antifong, I was slightly wondering about the strategy of staying close to the back of Chris McNichol, but clearly has made it work as he goes on to provisional pole with a 53.4. Nicely done. Sorry about that all. Yeah, no, sorry, it's a little hard to track the chat in the midst of this. Not enough screens. Anyway, as we look through, hearing the glorious sound of that Mustang V8 through the infield. Oh, pushing a little wide. Oh, that's not going to help that lap. For now, I'm now checking out Peter Hitzman. And maybe, just maybe, let's go on board. Oh, Jacob Cunningham back to provisional pole with a 53.3. And we're gonna go into cockpit and ride on board for a lap with Chris McNichol. Down into turn 1, braking a little before the mark, keeping it tight through the midsection and out to that curb, trying to straight line the second and third turns as much as possible. Second turn as much as possible. Braking for International Horseshoe, using inside curb, tracking out over that white line that is a legal part of the track to use. Through the kink, using a little bit of curb there. Brakes down in the middle of the track, keeps it tight on entry through turn 5. Short shifting a little bit out and down to turn 6. Very important corner to get right. If you get it wrong and are slow, it's going to hurt you all the way down to the bus stop, and that is a long run. You really want to make sure you are on top of it. And oh, I missed it as I was switching over. We are currently riding along with your provisional pole sitter at GT4. Up into 6th gear, looking for your brake point. Turns in, heavy over the curbs, more curb, and even more. Back out onto the banking. Expect to use quite a bit through there. It's always the risk. You're trying to balance how close you want to get in the bus stop to those off tracks, and how much curb you're able to risk. Swoop. Pops out a little bit, and into the trioval we go. Stays low through. And improves again to a 52.9. Very nice lap from Chris McNichol. Keeps Jacob Cunningham in second. Aiden Antifong currently in third. William Campbell in 4th. Tyler Laranjo is currently in the pits in 5th. Peter Hitzman in 6th. James Martin in 7th. Ben Smalling in 8th. Daniel Alfonso in 9th. Let's see if he's got an improvement in him. He does. Significant improvement up to a 55.9. That moves him up to 8th place. And that's it. That is qualifying done. Maybe not quite. Well, time has expired. We are just in the final runs for some people. Does Jacob Cunningham have anything for Chris McNichol at this stage? Headed down the chute to the tri-oval, staying low through the tri-oval. Does not improve. Minimal time off, but does not improve as he then crashes the car in turn 1. Aiden Antefong also does not improve. Peter Hitzman is your final car on track in the Hot Wheels Mustang, and does improve, but improves his time but not his position to a 54.8. And now that's qualifying. Well done all. Well done to our pole sitters of Alex Hansen and Chris McNichol. Alex Hansen in GT3, Chris McNichol in GT4. In GT3, it's Alex Hansen, followed by Jace Wright in second, Josh Willis in third, Jacob Magnowski in fourth, Frederick Goupel in fifth, Kylan Wilson in sixth, Mike Pico in seventh, Nate Hutchison in eighth, Justin Harper in ninth, Brad Severs rounding out your top 10 in GT3. 11th is Bronson Turner, 12th is Joel Bandera, 13th is Leo Polanco, 14th is Jeff Dallas, 15th is Joe Harkness, 16th is Josh Jordan, 17th is Parker Standeret, 18th is Corey Fortner, 19th is Rick Wolf, 20th is Morgan Stringer, 21st is Tyler Smith, 22nd is Jason Vondra, 23rd is Evan Laranjo, 24th is Austin Pitts, 25th is John Bourget, 26th, Cody Wassam. Did he not set a lap, potentially? Must have been the case for him to be down in 26th. Same thing with Ross O'Connor, actually. So they round out your GT3s. GT4, you've got 10 of them. Chris McNichol on pole, Jacob Cunningham in second, Aiden Antefong in third, William Campbell in fourth, Tyler Laranjo fifth, Peter Hitzman in sixth, James Martin in seventh, Daniel Alfonso in eighth, Ben Smalling in ninth, and Lane Vindell in 10th place. So we look forward, and we will shortly see that pace car roll off and begin the trek around. So yeah, things we're looking for tonight. Big thing is going to be 1 second gaps. Once you hit that 1 second mark, that really is your kind of marker for, hey, I'm now clear-ish of the person behind him. That's when draft really gets to the point of not being particularly effective. So, trying to keep it inside 1 second, very important for these guys. And that's the other thing that you kind of start to deal with is, in that case, you know, it's hard to break away from somebody. You may have better pace than they do, but if they can stay inside your draft, it doesn't really matter. They're going to pull back on you anyway. So here we go as we're watching the cars rounding the turn 4 banking at Daytona, getting ready for Alex Hansen to take them all away. And once the pace car dives in, it is his prerogative on when to choose to go. Pace car is off, and he's going right away. Hammer down immediately. Gets a great jump on Jace Wright, and Josh Willis makes the jump into second. Going back through as they look cleanly through there. Still everybody good. Few too wides, but no issues. Back through the field. Solid start in GT3. It appears we are safely through turn 1. Now back to the GT4s as they also navigate turn 1. Chris McNichol retaining his pole position through turn 1 and down International Horseshoe. However, William Campbell has jumped on the back of Jacob Cunningham and goes for the overtake. Cody Wassam appears to have had a bit of an issue back behind. Now is behind all of the GT4s. So we jump back up to GT3. Alex Hansen has Josh Willis just half a second back. Jacob Magnowski now in third, and critically has already dropped that 1 second. That's going to be tricky to come back on with those if those two choose to work together. Frederick Goupel has made up a place on Mike Pico. Got a couple big movers. Jeff Dallas up 5 from the start of the race. Very nice start for him. Right behind him, Joe Harkness also up 5. Jace Wright, oh no, that is damage on Jace Wright. He is down 11 places and likely will be down to the pits. Or not. He may not realize he's missing that rear wing. That is not going to go well for him into turn 1. Or maybe that's just a visual bug on my end, because he did not look missing rear wing bad enough through turn 1. But yeah, that's potentially a tough one. We'll see how he makes out as time goes on. It's moving around on him a bit. We head back up. Josh Willis sitting right there, real close in the draft of Alex Hansen. So we'll see, does he think he wants to go for the overtake, or is he content to just stay back in second right now? So they now head down the back straight towards the bus stop. Braking in. Ooh, takes a good bit of curb, and I clicked on the wrong one. Oh, as we've got a run, and that was not the right camera. Well, it was worth a try. As Josh Willis is going for the overtake for the lead, can he make it work around the outside of NASCAR turns 3 and 4? It's going to be a tall order. They're giving plenty of space. Through the trioval we go. He is currently clear. Now, is Alex Hansen going to make a move into turn 1? He does not. He stays back, and that has also brought Jacob Magnowski back into the picture from being a little bit farther out. Frederick Goupel not too far behind and still has Mike Pico for company. Bronson Turner behind Justin Harper's up a couple places as well, and looks like he really wants more on that Lamborghini. As they head through the kink. Lamborghini takes a middle of the road line while Bronson Turner tracks all the way out. Has a little bit of a wiggle, kind of dents his potential progress off the corner. As we're going to go back and check in on GT4. As William Campbell's actually looking at Chris McNichol there side by side down towards the kink. That's a tough one to make work. And William Campbell decides better of it this early and backs out. But the GT4 field so far is very tight together, as all four of the top four are all within a second of each other. And with the way the draft goes in GT4, it's going to be tough for anybody to break away. So there are some things moving around. I'm not sure if we're having actual issues or just, yeah, draw cars things. So William Campbell does look to potential using that draft to good effect down at the bus stop. Is real close, but will he be able to make it through as quickly? Oop. Looks like Chris McNichol gets a little bit better of a run. As we're just gonna hop on here and look from William Campbell's perspective towards Chris McNichol into turn one. Oh. Disappears for a second. Little bit of a lift there. Oh, goes for the move, is alongside, and they touch. Chris McNichol's moved out a little wide. It's not done though. Down in International Horseshoe. Chris McNichol on the inside, William Campbell on the outside, and Jacob Cunningham is right there too. He wants a piece of this if he can. He's probably not happy to have lost that place and is going to want it back. But does not get the drive yet. Looks inside. Doesn't have it down into turn 5. Good stuff, good racing, as this is also slightly bringing 5th and 6th place back into the equation. Tyler Laranjo tucking back up, as is Ben Smalling. Ben Smalling having made up 3 places from where he qualified so far. So we go back forward to the GT3 field. Check in. See how Cody Wassam has now cleared all of the GT4s and is working his way towards his first overtake on Kelly McQueen. Using the draft to great effect, side by side through the tri-oval. And is clear, breaks deep into turn 1, and on he goes as we head forward into the GT3 field. Taking a look at Leo Polanco, closely followed by Joshua Jordan. Josh Jordan definitely looking racy here behind Leo. Leo takes a little bit of a wider line and then tightens up onto the banking. Josh Jordan kind of doing an opposite thing. Stays a little high, doesn't take advantage of the draft. Now tucks back in and begins gaining using it. Is he going to think about a move into the bus stop, or is he going to just sit tight? He's looking to the inside, but nothing doing yet. And through goes Leo, gains a little bit of time through there. As now Josh Jordan again back to gaining time in the draft. But is it going to be too little too late? They're most of the way through the tri-oval, down into 1. He's looking to the inside and does not have it. Leo stays safe for another couple of corners. We head further up our field. And now actually we have Josh Willis has taken the lead somewhere along the line, so not sure when that occurred, but Josh is now up into the lead. Jacob Mignowski has come through to second as well in all of this. So Alex is -2 at the moment. they head down into the bus stop. All taking very similar lines, hammering those curbs. Bit of sparks flying over them on exit, and now back out into NASCAR 3. Alex Hansen not gaining a ton of time right now. As actually Jacob Magnowski is closing up on the back of Josh Willis. He's looking to the outside. Josh stays low, stays defensive. Jacob Magnowski takes it deep on the brakes, and Alex Hansen going for the move. Jacob Magnowski goes a little wide, and Alex Hansen is right there to attempt to take advantage. They are still side by side down in International Horseshoe. Alex Hansen trying to take the outside to cut back, but doesn't quite have the drive off the corner to do it. And Jacob Magnowski survives that slight misstep there. Both taking a little bit of dirt on the exit of 5. Now down into 6 they go. Now it's going to be slightly trickier this lap for Jacob Magnowski. Is not as close to Josh Willis. He will not be getting as much draft as he did last lap. And Alex Hansen is closer. So the question is he going to look for something into the bus stop, or is he going to try and wait? They are side by side down to the bus stop. Cannot hang it around the outside, though. That is a tricky move to try and make happen. So we're now on board with Alex Hansen, looking forward towards Jacob Magnowski and Josh Willis. Alex Hansen does currently have the race fast lap with a 44.6. Although everybody is still going fast. There are a lot of green times right now. There are a lot of people gaining. Still early days. Through turn 1. Gaining bit by bit. So we go down and let's see, who else do we have that's close together? Joel Bandera has Nate Hutchison and Jeff Dallas for very close company right now. As the lights have come on these cars, I believe we are pretty close to sunset, if not already, if the sun has not already set. Just through the kink this line goes. All pretty similar lines, nobody really looking around, though that was a little tighter by the Mercedes than the Aston through the second part of the corner. Now we'll see, as we come out on the banking for NASCAR 1, who has top ends over the other. Is it the Aston? Is it the Mercedes? My understanding is the Mercedes is likely a bit quicker, at least at the top. But what kind of aero levels are we looking at? As the Mercedes is looking for a move into the bus stop, but thinks wiser of it, backs out, tucks in line, and follows him through. But now that he's thought about it once, is he going to think about it into turn 1? Running about a lane up from the bottom of the track, and that Mercedes is getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Goes for the high line. Alongside, they get alongside through the short chute and down through the tri-oval. The Mercedes noses ahead. The Aston has the preferred line for turn 1, though. Both braking late. Aston stays close and is able to stick on that middle line, and the Mercedes, even going for the over-under, cannot make it work. But now looks to the inside into International Horseshoe, and oh, that makes Joel Bandera slide a little bit wide on the brakes. Just out-braked himself slightly. Maybe got a little bit distracted by the Mercedes, and through goes Nate Hutchison up into 8th place on Joel Bandera. Very nice racing between these two. Very respectful. Very well done. Now, will Joel Bandera be able to take advantage of the draft here and maybe try and come back at the Mercedes of Nate Hutchinson? So far, not quite. As we look back from the Mercedes towards that Aston. Lots of curb hopping all around. Up through 5th, 6th gear through the banking. Yeah, that Aston just doesn't quite look like it's got, even in the draft, doesn't quite have what it needs. Swinging out wide into turn 1. Oh, there's a little bit of a touch there on the wall for the Aston. Hopefully that didn't cause any damage. And Nate Hutchinson solidifies his lead. Let's check in on the leaders, shall we? Josh Willis still out front with Jacob Magnowski for company. Alex Hansen dropping back a little bit. Nothing crazy, but he's no longer in draft range, so that will be hurting his lap times a little bit. Let's see, who else do we have that's close together? A little farther back in the GT3s, we've got Kylan Wilson, followed closely by Rick Wolf. As they slither out of the infield through that bumpy section of track between turn 6 and the oval section. It is unpleasant. The car wants to be all over the place. The traction control is working overtime. It's a tricky place. We're going to go even farther back now as we take a look at Jason Vondra, followed closely by Evan Laranja, who's potentially looking. Not quite yet. Oh, who is that damaged behind them? That is the Porsche Parker Standeret nose looking a little worse for wear as Evan Laranjo gets to the outside of Jason Vondra through NASCAR 3. Sorry about that. Goes high, and now Parker Standeret potentially pushing the Mercedes and then going for the high line himself. As soon as he loses that draft, though, you can see it almost just parachute like a parachute on that car, but he also does complete the overtake on Jason Vondra. Now moving around, looking at Evan, maybe thinking about something, but not quite in an international horseshoe. We should check in on GT4. Chris McNichols, still your leader in GT4. Jacob Cunningham in second, about half a second back. William Campbell, about 1.3 back of Jacob Cunningham. So this is starting to spread out as, the leaders are in amongst the GT4s. That's going to get interesting for them. So we go forward to these two as they work their way through the leaders in GT3, currently working their way through the leaders in GT4. Always a challenging time, especially when both sets are so close together. You know, you can't take too much risk but also you can't lose too much time either. Ooh, Jacob Cunningham pushed a little bit wide by the presence. Oh, Josh Willis driving into the back of Chris McNichol, putting him off, and oh no, that is Chris McNichol in the wall. Oh, that is unfortunate. That is an unfortunate touch there. That puts Jacob Cunningham through into the lead. William Campbell into second. Now Chris McNichol currently in third. Doesn't look too damaged right now, hopefully. See that nose. No, nose of that car looks okay. So doesn't look too heavily damaged by that. Hopefully he is able to continue on without too much detriment. So we look elsewhere around throughout the field. Nate Hutchison has not broken away from Joel Bandera. Joel is still back there, just lurking, nothing crazy, not really in range to make him. Oh no! Around goes Nate Hutchison. Just gets a little bit loose up off the curb, and I think, yeah, returns to pits. Oh no, that is an unfortunate bit of commentary cursing there. That is not how you want to see that go. So we look around now. So Frederick Goupel is now up to the back of Alex Hansen. Now that Audi, generally not known for its top end. Porsche here definitely is, so that's going to be a little tricky for Mr. Crow there to try and find a way by, but he's fast, he's got pace, it's not saying he can't. The Audi taking a bit wider of a line out onto the banking than Porsche. However, up front now, it looks like they actually, based on the leader lights, it looks like they crossed the line with Jacob Magnowski actually up in front. And Josh Willis does have a bit of damage on the nose of that car now from that touch with the GT4. So that is not going to be helping his straight line speed at a place that straight line speed is kind of everything. So we'll see if now Jacob Magnowski can attempt to take advantage of that. He's closing quickly now in the draft as they come into the tri-oval. What's he going to do with it? He looks high, but stays back behind. Oh, he actually also had Jacob Magnowski also with a little bit of damage on the front left of that Porsche. So neither car up front is 100% healthy and actually have almost identical damage on the nose. It is interesting. We did not see what happened with Jacob, only with Josh. But Jacob is really close now through the kink, wiggling around, tries to bounce outside a little bit, entering into 5, excuse me. Takes a little bit lighter of a line out onto the banking, but now is tucked right there. Oh, and there's contact. Didn't 100% see what happened there. There was a little bit of people blinking in and out. But Jacob Magnowski is now through on Josh Willis. Now, I think going out that wide, he may have to serve a slow down. And I thought I saw a bumper flying, but it is still there. So I'm not sure exactly how this is now going to play out between these two. There could yet be some responses to in-game penalties that have to occur. Alex Hansen is looking around the outside, of Jacob Magnowski now after having been slowed up. He cuts back to the inside. Oh, nearly contact with Frederick Goupel as he's now looking forward. This is all kicked off at the front of GT3's. Oh, there's a small touch between Jacob Magnowski and Alex Hansen down in the International Horseshoe. Alex Hansen a little bit wider, and this is actually letting Frederick Goupel get through on him. So that battle that they were having earlier now thrown all over the place. Josh Willis going for the outside on Frederick Goupel. Didn't quite get there. But I have to think now, there's potentially another set of damage on that Porsche, and if Alex Hansen's Porsche is clean, that should give him a pretty solid advantage coming down into the bus stop and into turn 1 in these big drafting zones on the banking at Daytona. Such an iconic part of this venue. Breaking down into the bus stop. Alex has a solid run through. Oh, takes a bit of curb there. I do think that was an off track, but early enough in the race, it shouldn't be too much of a concern. Now, the other bit to consider is you do have a fast repair. Do you dive to the pits as soon as you are inside your window to make it to try and get repaired if you're any one of these guys? Alex is looking to the outside towards turn 1. Breaks a little bit earlier than Jacob Magnowski though, but cuts back to the inside. Oh, what a move! What a move! And now Frederick Goupel is jumping on as Jacob Magnowski pushed a little bit wide in response to that. Now moves back up to the inside and touches Frederick Goupel and around Goupel goes. Oh, that is not how you want to see that go. Oh, there was such good racing going on there. Now, Josh Willis flashing the lights furiously behind Jacob Magnowski. As also being brought back into this is Mike Pico. Was in 5th, not terribly far behind, but not really in it. Now he is relatively close to these guys. So now we'll see. Josh Willis is likely going to want to try and get back through. I don't think he's terribly happy to have lost the lead, and now even second. I promise we will go back and look at the GT4s momentarily as soon as this settles down slightly. Oh, both take big curb on the exit of the bus stop. That's not going to help either of them, but it also, with both of them doing it, kind of even Steven on that. Jacob is inside drafting range of... Josh Willis diving to the pits. First of the pit callers from the guys up front. Down onto the limiter. And that gives us our opportunity to jump around, and let's see where the GT4s are. It's Jacob Cunningham getting pushed a little bit wide on the exit of the bus stop by a GT3. And that may have helped Chris McNichol get close. Because last I noted, about a lap ago, they were about a second and a half apart, and now Chris is less than half a second behind Jacob Cunningham. That's actually 2/10, now down to 1/10. Getting close into turn 1. Blinks a bit. Bit of a tighter line through the middle of the corner and on exit. There's a little wiggle from Cunningham. Doesn't seem to have hurt his speed too much. As up the inside goes Chris McNichol. Jacob Cunningham leaves space. Oh, that was a stop BMW. As they're now too wide, headed towards the kink. And we've seen this before in GT4. Yep, brakes, backs out of it. Not worth it in GT4. It is a tough job to go side by side. As Jacob Cunningham taking a defensive line down into turn 5. Doesn't want to give Chris McNichol another opportunity. Just because it didn't work last time doesn't mean it's not going to this time, and doesn't want to give that chance. William Campbell's likely licking his chops in third, just hoping that they keep slowing each other up and maybe give him an opportunity to do something about this. Go on to the roll bars, they're headed down. Lifts, braking for the bus stop. Lots of curb. No curb on exit for Chris McNichol, though. Staying in the draft as best he can. Through NASCAR 3, NASCAR 4. Now that draft starting to take effect as he pulls it inside 2/10. Down to a 10th. Jacob Cunningham going for the high line. Possibly just letting him go. Oh, as the GT3 pops in all of a sudden. Wide goes Chris McNichol. Through goes Josh Willis. There's a line of GT3s there. Actually, that might be... That is Josh, clearly having repaired his car now. Behind Morgan Stringer. Josh is the first person to have pit. So this is for position, but these are alternate strategies here at this stage. Josh is going to want to get by fairly quickly here. He doesn't want to get held up too much. That'll hurt his potential undercut if that is what he's going for. Stays driver's left, moves up the inside through 6, and through he goes. Back into the top 10. Look back to the GT4s. Oh, and I've managed to miss something again. They're going to throw something at me, so let's just rewind this real quick. Try and catch how William Campbell got through on both of them. Oh, this looks like there may have been some GT3-induced action here. As William Campbell is now by Jacob Cunningham into International. So he's clear. Jacob Cunningham's exit is a little bit compromised. And oh, Chris McNichol was... I didn't see him off. Okay. Well, we're just going to go back live as through goes Jacob Cunningham on William Campbell. Seems like the Aston's got pretty solid legs here at this stage, especially compared to that Mercedes. Campbell looking to the inside a little bit, keeps it a little tighter through the middle part of turn 1. Chris McNichol also staying very close. And actually pulls the inside, potentially looking, but just can't get the run from the tighter line. Ooh, goes a little bit wide there. Maybe a little bit of target fixation might have locked the fronts a little bit, and Chris McNichol goes through back into second. These guys are having a crazy battle here. This is very good racing from these guys. Through NASCAR 1 and NASCAR 2 they go. Checking in on Cody Wassam, who's currently up to 13th overall, still owes us a pit stop. Now we've got a couple cars in the pits currently. Frederick Goupil, who was in that lead battle, he was battling Mike Pico, Mike Pico has gotten ahead of him. Are we live? Yes, we are. Why am I not finding him on the list? Come on. Alex Hansen now exiting the pits. Second place, Josh Willis, already on track, already flying, goes through on Alex Hansen. Now, I doubt they took tires. It's Daytona. You're not going to wear them that badly. Ooh, little bit of a slide there. Little bit of slide for Alex Hansen. So, Alex Hansen is not likely to be on cold tires, but I would expect they're going to be a little cooler because you were in the pits, and it will take a lap or two to get back up to full operating temp. And if Josh Willis can take advantage of that, he's going to be very pleased with himself. As into the pits comes Jacob Magnowski, the last of that front-running group to pit. Look back towards this group as Josh Willis down through the bus stop. Left, right, right. Oh, Alex Hansen running a little wide there, but keeps it inside that tire barrier crucially, so will not cost him a slowdown. We're going to see if this... Oh. Why are my camera controls not working? Come on. Oh, that's why. Clicking in the wrong place. As through turn 1 comes Josh Willis. Now, where is Jacob Magnowski? There he is. He is on pit exit. And Jacob Magnowski is ahead into the International Horseshoe. However, Josh is charging back with a head of steam. Already out on course, already fully up to pace. What is he going to have for Jacob Magnowski for the lead of this race? Very critically inside that 1 second range at this stage. And through NASCAR 1, they work their way through. Now let's check back in with some others. Bronson Turner, who has Corey Fortner in close company. And Parker Standeret not far up the road. Last time around, Bronson was a little bit quicker than both the two cars around him, so is likely looking to move forward. Parker, having pitted, clearly repaired his car from the unfortunate damage that he received, however that happened. Trackalicious boards and banner looking very nice on that FAF livery. Checking in on GT4 real quick. Does not look like any of them have pitted yet. Now, they tend to pit a little later than the GT3s, and actually, as I say that, into the pits comes Chris McNichol. That looks like he might have potentially sped. He definitely wiggled. See where the other two are. Wow, Jacob Cunningham has dropped back significantly from Chris. That's interesting, as William Campbell's already also in the pits. So wonder what happened to Jacob Cunningham. Or did he... Oh, no, he pit. He already pit. He's coming back. That's... Okay, I understand. Oh, and unfortunately in the chat, Chris McNichol confirms he did speed. Oh, that is... Oh, that is killer on what was such a good lead battle. Absolutely brutal way for that to go. I mean, we've all done it, but that just hurts. So Jacob Cunningham is headed into turn 1. William Campbell is on pit exit. So, does Jacob Cunningham have the speed to catch? William Campbell coming out with nearly a 4-second advantage, so not sure. It's potentially a fuel-related difference, or there could be any number of things. We shall see. We head back up. Oh, the lead battle is very spicy right now. Josh Willis being very close to Jacob Magnowski. Actually, Josh Willis did cross the stripe in first, it appears. As Magnowski runs a little bit wide, Josh Willis cuts to the inside. This is for the lead. Josh Willis on driver's right. Jacob Magnowski on driver's left, down into turn 6. Can't quite make it happen there. He had the run through 5, but then was on the wrong side of the course for turn 6. Nothing he can do, just how the track goes. But now very close on his rear bumper. Looking to the inside into the bus stop. Backs out of it, thinks better of it. He's still very close, likely just choosing to try and wait and potentially go for a move into 1. Certainly still close enough. Little bobble there down to the bottom. Josh goes high as we enter the tri-oval. He's at his axle, he's at his door. What can he do on the brakes? Pretty even on brakes and out. Oop. Into his door goes Jacob Magnowski. They're still side by side though. Now Josh has the preferred line into International Horseshoe, goes deeper on the brakes. Jacob Magnowski backs up a little bit and Josh Willis is back to the lead. Furiously flashing the lights from both of them. Fascinating. As we now look back through, see who's where. Kylan Wilson has Cody Wassam for company. Cody Wassam has not pit yet, though. That is getting late, actually. Unless timing didn't pick it up. It is possible that that is the case. Cody Wassam swings the McLaren out wide, trying to get the better run towards International Horseshoe. Kylan Wilson takes a defensive line into International and then very nicely keeps it down to the apex. Cody was clearly expecting him to go wide and had a bit of a run and had to back out of it in mid-corner. Again, Kylan Wilson taking the defensive line into turn 5. Swings a little wider this time, and Cody Wassam still cannot find a way through. Cody Wassam weaving left and right as Kylan Wilson defends again. Cody taking a bit of a higher line out onto the banking. Now tucked in the draft with that damaged Porsche. Just getting closer and closer in the draft. Neither using a particularly large amount of curbs in the entry, but on the exit, Kylan Wilson definitely uses a decent amount, as now Cody Wassam is right there, less than 2/10 back. He's got to be thinking, this is the lap, this is the time to do it, this is the corner to do it. But those Porsches do have really good top end, and even though he's in the draft, Cody Wassam is not there yet. Cody Wassam forced to sit behind for another lap, so not quite there yet. As we look around, Josh Willis is back to third, Alex Hansen in second, Jacob Magnowski first. Alex Hansen was a little bit back, so, and is showing his second at the start of this lap. Let's see if we can potentially find that move for the lead. Sorry, this is not the cleanest way to watch this, but this is what we got. And I'm not going to have it. Dang. All right. Worth a shot. Josh Willis is now right there on Alex Hansen. Look to the inside. Alex Hansen closes the door into one. A flash of lights from Josh. He is not happy about a lot of things at this stage, it seems. He is getting there. Alex Hansen moves left. Josh moving down to the inside. And I think Alex decided not to fight him too hard on that one. Maybe deciding it wasn't quite worth it. But now, as they head down towards the kink, he's looking, but Josh is now through into turn 5, but Alex Hansen dives him back. Josh tries to cut back, catches his rear bumper. There's more flashing of lights between the two. Alex Hansen gets a bit of oversteer on corner exit, and now Mike Pico is right there with Alex Hansen as well, going, can I get a podium out of this? Are these two gonna fight each other hard enough that I'm gonna be able to get through? Sure, you in theory can ask about the LMU League. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer, but I can certainly try. Alex Hansen's alongside, backs out down into the bus stop. Lots of times they've been looking, but nobody's quite been able to get to that point where they're confident that it is now going to be their corner if they stay side by side. It's a tricky one to try and go for, as Mike Pico now in 4th, looking forward, just hoping that these two keep at it. Not sure if that's a thing on my end or actually happened, but Alex Hansen potentially up into the wall. Mike Pico definitely had a better run through turn 1. Is he going to be able to do something with it down into the International Horseshoe? Not yet. Josh Willis flashing the lights at a lapped car. I believe that is the BMW. Yes, that is the BMW. Morgenstern, who backs out to let that lead pack through, wants no parts of that smoke. Frederick Goupel also just lurking. All of them kind of hoping, something might happen here. But in all this battling is also letting Jacob Magnowski pull a little bit of a gap on the two of them. And with 13 minutes to go, is it worth considering maybe if they work together, they might just be able to catch him, although he is going to catch a little bit of traffic on exit of the bus stop. I'm not sure how much that would have held him up, but it can't have helped. As high and out of the way goes Jason Vondra. Now tucks back in to get that draft. Looking back at Cody Wassam, who now actually has Joe Harkness in front of him. Oh, as Joe Harkness spins, makes a little bit of contact with the front of Cody. Kylan Wilson was through first, and Cody attempting to follow through, and then, as I said, that braking zone is really bumpy. It's really tricky, and all that looks like a lot of damage for Joe Harkness. Hopefully he didn't already use his fast repair. Looking around, Justin Harper currently up to 6th place overall. Haven't had much to look in on him for, and it's kind of just been out there. As we look back, Josh Willis flashing the lights towards Jason Vondra, trying to let that lap traffic know, hey, chaos is behind you. Because that's about all I can describe this lead battle as at this point. Alex Hansen is still right there, and Mike Pico is staying close. Any mistake from these guys at this point, he's ready to pounce and get that podium. Josh flashing the lights at Vondra again. Takes a lot of curb in on entry. Vondra a little slow through. Lots of dodging and weaving. That was crazy. There was lots of potential for mistakes, but everybody keeps it out of each other's bumpers and is safe and kind of all fair's love and war. Nobody really too badly advantaged or disadvantaged by that, other than all of them versus Jacob Magnowski. However, yeah, Jacob Magnowski also a little quicker that last lap. Around the outside goes Alex Hansen. Oh, and gets into the side of Josh Willis, puts him around. Mike Pico, as I said, was really hopeful to take advantage of that, and he has, but not as much as he might have thought initially, as Frederick Kupel is also going for the overtake on him, and they are now battling for second instead of for fourth. Down into turn 5, still side by side between those two. They better fall in line somehow, or they're going to have Alex Hansen all over the back of them. Mike Pico looking, wiggles around a little bit in the braking zone. Frederick Kupel's a lot wider through the corner exit of turn 6 than that Mercedes of Mike Pico. Alex Hansen not far behind on that one. Very close on the brakes. Oh, so confident to be on the brakes that close to somebody and not back up at all. Very nice racing indeed. As Alex Hansen flashing the lights at Mike Pico, trying to distract him. I don't think he's unhappy with any of it. Don't think there's anything really that kicked off there that might have caused that. As Frederick Kupel is maintaining that gap to the Mercedes, as the Mercedes now side by side with the Porsche. Porsche brakes a little early, looks for the cutback, but doesn't have it. Bouncing outside, Mike Pico staying roughly half a lane in defensively. Having to look both forward to try and think about getting, does he want to get second? I mean, he does, but does he have the opportunity to? While also trying to keep his podium from Alex Hansen. Let's take a quick look back to GT4. Don't want to spend too much. William Campbell has a pretty solid lead over Jacob Cunningham right now, almost up to 5 seconds. Aiden Antefong is now in third. Chris McNichol in fourth, recovering from that speeding penalty. Yeah, that one's gonna hurt. But back up to the front we go. As they're all small gaps. Potentially manageable for each of them, but also certainly not something that you would call safe. Through NASCAR 3 and 4, they go. Mike Pico starting to gain. Alex Hansen gaining even more behind, though. Looks for that outside move through turn 1 again. He's made that work a couple times, but not this time. Not on this occasion. Look a little farther back. They've got a little bit of a scrap here. Kylan Wilson looking at the... Oh! That's not ideal. As Leo Polanco gets hit in the side and Kylan Wilson takes advantage. Bronson Turner behind as well. Oh, what was that? Well, somebody was off to the bottom there. Not sure who. Look back to the front. As these guys are close enough to look like they might have something going, but the same time, none of them really making big inroads on any of each other. Frederick Goupil is pulling away just a little bit. Alex Hansen very aggressive through the bus stop. Looked like he might have a run, but doesn't have anywhere to take it. Alex Hansen goes high, but it's a little early. Doesn't really have enough draft at that point. Now he goes back to the high side. As we're headed into the tri-oval, they go side by side. Mike Pico drifting up to the middle of the tri-oval. Brakes later than Alex Hansen does in the Porsche. Gets it tucked to the inside and keeps his third place safe for now, but Alex Hansen does get a better run off the corner. He is looking to the inside. Is he going to go for a dive? He is. What a very nice overtake by Alex Hansen. Now flashing the lights at Frederick Goupil. That's definitely a distraction technique now. Mike Pico for a second looked like he thought he maybe was going to be able to cut back, try and do an over-under, but the way that works as a hairpin as opposed to a corner makes that pretty tricky and isn't quite able to make that happen. Alex Hansen runs very wide through 6, but keeps it in, and that battling has taken them back a bit from Frederick Goupil. He's got almost a second on the two of them now. Can he make this work? Can he make the Audi, which is not particularly well known for being a Daytona car? Can he make it work here tonight? We've got only 3 minutes to go as we look forward to Jacob Magnowski. I think Josh Willis has actually parked it up at this stage. He appears to not be on track. Alex Hansen has closed it up to Frederick Goupil a good bit. So maybe, so Pico might be back in the same situation going, all right, I just need Alex Hansen to get up there, and maybe they battle and I get back on again. Ooh, really closes up on turn in there. Has a much better run through the corner entry. Back to Bronson Turner, see how doing there. Morgan Stringer is on the back of Austin Pitts. But no, I think our actions up front here, as it has been, is taking it 3 wide. GT4 to the high side. GT3 on the lapped GT3 on the low side of Leo Polanco. He's gonna. He gets by, but Alex Hansen does not. Oh, Alex is gonna be so upset about that one. Leo Polanco doing nothing wrong there. He has to exist. He has to eventually be able to take the corner. But that definitely slowed Alex Hansen greatly through the bus stop. And Mike Pico's also dropped back a little bit at this stage. Excuse me. I actually believe we are likely on the white flag lap at this stage. We have under a minute to go in the race, and Jacob Magnowski just crossed the line. Through the kink, they all work their way. You see the attitude of that Porsche is really Alex Hansen just ringing it for everything it has at this point. Really just have to go for broke now. This is the last lap. This is your last chance. What does he have? What can he find? Doesn't look like he's found too much. He's still about a second back down the back straight. Frederick Goupel gaining a little bit through the bus stop. Been gaining on Jacob Magnowski this whole time as well, but it's going to be too little too late as we are coming around through NASCAR 4, down the short chute, towards the tri-oval for the final time. Jacob Magnowski wins Daytona. Congratulations, very nicely done. Frederick Goupel in second, Alex Hansen third, and Mike Pico fourth. Oh, he's going to be ruined that one. He was there. He was up there and just didn't quite have it. Kylan Wilson. Oh. Justin Harper now up to fifth, working his way towards the line. Whereas, okay, my GT4s are a little farther back. Through for fifth goes Justin Harper. Sixth for Jeff Dallas. Then Kylan Wilson. But also now your GT4 leader taking lots of curb on his final time through the bus stop. Through goes William Campbell into NASCAR 3. Rounding NASCAR 4 now and on to the flat of the short chute. For the final time tonight through the tri-oval, William Campbell wins the GT4 class at Daytona. Very nicely done. Second goes to Jacob Cunningham, and third looks like it's going to be Aiden Antifong shortly. Flash of the lights down the...
You scared me!
Flash of the lights down the short chute through the tri-oval. And there you have it. Podium in GT4, podiums of GT3. Is there anybody else still out there? I think that should be about it at this stage. Well done all. Well done. And momentarily, we're going to be back to the studio, and I am going to be... Oh. Some people got in because I'm in the wrong Discord channel. Whoops. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
What up? Hello.
Just gotta do one or two things here on my end. There we are, back to the studio, and well, we'll start with our GT3s this week because we have all three GT3 podium finishers in chat already. Jacob Magnowski, congratulations on your win. Nicely done. Looked like a lot of battling out there. How was your race?
It was a lot of battling. Couple lucky, unlucky moments, and everything just kind of went my way at the end. It was nice to get a win in both classes, GT4 and GT3.
Nice. Nicely done. Frederick, second. Very nice. Looked like you kind of were taking the approach of, hey, I'm going to sit back here and let these guys fight, and maybe something will come to me. And then it did. How'd you feel about that one?
You see, that's where you're wrong. I was fighting the car the whole time. It was not as stable as it could have been, but the race went pretty well. The straights were really what decided a lot of this. There was a lot of battling, a lot of, like Magnowski said, there was a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones. It was a pretty dangerous race, but I'm glad that it worked out in my favor. First podium, so I'm pretty happy with that for sure.
Congratulations for that, then. And very nicely done. And Alex Hansen, third place, very hard fought. Nicely done. Looked like you had quite a few scraps there and a few traffic interactions. How was your race?
It was tough. I haven't been racing for a long time, so getting back to it. Yeah, I'm really surprised I got a podium and then just threw it all away.
Well, that does happen sometimes, unfortunately, but you fought hard and came away with what you could. Congratulations to all the GT3s. Now, it does appear we have at least 2 of the GT4s. Oh, no, we do have all 3 of them now. So, congratulations, William Campbell, on your win. Looked like you guys were scrapping tooth and nail as well, especially in that first stint. Did things get a little separated by the GT3s, or was it just a pace thing for you guys?
I think it was definitely a mixture of both. Unfortunately, both Jacob and Chris McNichol, who was at the front most of the time, they had kind of some incidents that cost them a fair amount of time. And luckily, most of the time, because I was running the fixed setup, I had a whole bunch of rear wing. So I just kind of stayed behind them, saved as much fuel as I can, because I knew the only way I'd be able to kind of get in front of them would be to kind of save fuel, gain time in the pit stop. But honestly, it was a great race for what it was. I think that's the lowest incident count I've ever had in a race ever, and even around Daytona. But it was a great race while we were all together.
Very nice, very nice. Jacob, congratulations on your second place. It seemed little chaotic there at points. A few interesting GT3 interactions. How was it?
I mean, that first stint, the battle between us top 4 was just absolutely amazing. Then, unfortunately, right before the pit stop window hit, there was a lap GT4. I thought he was getting on the brakes early to let us all by, and so I turned in at the bus stop, and he was just still there. Oh. And that just sent me flying backwards into the inside wall, but was able to get back up to speed pretty quick, pit, use that fast repair, and then I just didn't have anything for William when he had clean air.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That kind of tracks on how that went. I obviously did not see that, but that's unfortunate. And Aiden, very nicely done on your podium. How was your race?
A lot of good battles between GT3s and also GT4s, and like Jacob said, in top 4 GT4s. Very clean and fun.
Well, there you go. Congratulations, guys. So yeah, that's your GT4 podium now. Now we've got, for those of you who may or may not be aware, we did start an MX5 league on Sunday nights. First round was this past weekend, but there's plenty of time to still join. You can certainly, I think there should be a drop that you'll be able to use to still be in it if you wish to be. And yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us, and good luck in your Daytona 24s if you're doing them. Have a great night, all.